Hey everybody, welcome back to Flosstube number 12. If you're new, my name is Casey, and if you're returning, thanks for coming back. Today is just going to be a regular Flosstube where I show you the progress I've made since my last video, which has been a little bit over a month, I believe. I also have my baby sleeping over here, so we'll see how far we can get before he wakes up. So since my last video, I mentioned I would be going back to work soon, which did happen, and my stitching has decreased, but luckily I can still stitch on my days off. I just haven't really been stitching during my work week because I'm trying to also just take care of the baby when I'm off, so yeah. But the progress I've made includes some time before I went back to work, so if you think it's a lot, that's probably why. I've decided since my last video that I want to try to reduce the number of projects that I'm working on. So a lot of projects I've seen in the past or in whip parades, I'm not going to be working on them for a while. And there's a few that I might not work on at all this year, unfortunately. But I just want to be able to see faster progress and be able to finish things. So yeah, I'm thinking I might have only 1 or 2 full coverages out at a time, which doesn't make me sad because I like full coverages, but I'll be happy when I can actually finish things. And then I also have a handful of non-full coverage ones, so they could be small or bigger, but I feel like I've been having a growing interest in ones that are not full coverage. And I have a pretty long wish list now on 1-2-3 Stitch. So I'm just looking forward to being able to start more that are not full coverage. So I'm not going to show you these in any particular order. Yeah, and if I have the before photo from last time, I'll show it, and I'll show you the cover photo of what it will look like when it's done. The first one is called Halloween. It's from Cross Stitch Patterns on Etsy. I have multiple different projects that I've started on this fabric, but this is the one that I'm trying to show you guys. It's a small one. I would say I'm for sure over 50% done. The owl I think is pretty much done, and I'm making my way on the pumpkin. I really like how this pattern is charted because there's a separate page for stitching and then a separate page that has the back stitch. It's not all just on one chart, so it's really easy to read. I just barely worked on this one yesterday. That was the only time I worked on it since my last video. I just got the urge to do Halloween stitching, and this could be a quick finish, maybe before Halloween, if I actually keep working on it. Peachy, move! You're in the way, Peachy. Nobody wants to see this. But get your butt out. Alright, the next one is called Balladrix by Filipina. I've made quite a bit of progress and I really enjoy stitching this one. Let's see. I've reached the bottom corner, so that's how long it's pretty skinny. I feel like I thought it would be wider, but I mean, I'm not complaining either. I just really like this one. I've finished besides the beads, I believe the all right, he touched the stop button with his nose, so what I was saying was I finished, what is this called? This thing, except for the beads. That would be all the way at the end. And then the next thing I'm focusing on is the dress. So I did this line so I can try to just do all the color all the way versus just little bits at a time. But this part has to be filled in. I think it's almost all cry neck. I don't really mind the cry neck. I just use a needle threader to put it through the needle, and I use smaller lengths of thread, because then if it's too long it just frizzles up and stuff. Next is called Joshua Tree by Awesome Pattern Studio on Etsy. And this one was a finish. I already have it on the wall, so I'll either just insert a photo or I'll take a separate video clip later and show you. I'm not like 100% happy with the framing. I did it myself and I just feel like it's slightly not as straight around the edges as I'd like, which, I mean, it is what it is. I'm very impatient. When I finish something, I want it framed as soon as possible. So yeah, it's okay. Maybe someday I will take it apart and do it again, but I don't know if I will do that. So I finished that one and I posted it on my Facebook. For my friends and family to see. And then a friend of mine messaged me saying how much she loved it, and her wife actually went to Joshua Tree on their honeymoon recently, so she asked if I'd be willing to make it and she could pay me. I told her she didn't have to pay, but she insisted, so she's just gonna pay for the materials and I'll stitch it up for her. So I finished it and then I started it again. But this time I'm gonna try to just do color completion just to change it up a little bit, so I'm not like, so hopefully I don't get tired of stitching the same thing again. But I know I'll be excited to give it to them, so that's gonna help me be able to, my cat just bit me. I'm excited to be able to gift it to them, so that's what's gonna push me to stitch on it and work on it. It's only like an hour from where I live, Joshua Tree National Park. And yeah, I'm also going to include the date that they went to the park. Oh yeah, let me show you the current one because I started it. So there was a finish and now a start of the same thing. I'm just in the top corner. So I'm just working on this color. It's a lot of, I mean, as you've seen me work on this before, it's a lot of just block coloring. So yeah. Next one is called Haunted House by Stitching Jewels on Etsy. I haven't worked on this one in a really long time, but recently Stitching Jewels on her Flosstube was asking for anybody with a Flosstube channel who is working on her projects or would like to let her know, and she could give us shout outs. And basically people who are interested in her patterns can also come look at all the people who are stitching them on Flosstube. They can get another idea of how they turn out, and then also so she can see how her projects turn out if she hasn't actually stitched those ones. So this fabric is very stiff, but I'm just trying to push through. This is where I am now. When I first started this project, I considered putting the pumpkins orange and everything else black, but since it's not like defined lines, it was a little bit annoying to just try to figure out where should be orange and black. So I took it out and decided to just stick with black. But yeah. Next is another one from Stitching Jewels. It's also monochromatic. I've only stitched her monochromatic ones. I've never stitched any of her other full coverage or just colored patterns. This one is called Sleeping Cat. It reminds me of my cat Wally, not this cat, but the other. It's a gray cat. You can't really tell what it is yet, but pretty soon you should be able to. I want to say that this is the cat's ear. The next one I actually forgot to show in my whip braid, surprisingly, but it is called Dinosaurs by Green Terrace on Etsy. It's on 32 count Lugana top, and I'm stitching it 2/2 full cross. All of my stuff is full cross. I think since you last saw this, I've made a lot of progress since I didn't show it on my whip braid. But the top half is all done, back stitching included. And now I've been focusing on the head of this dinosaur. But I'm honestly not a huge fan of stitching this one. I mean, I like how it looks, but I don't like the chart. It's just hard to read. And I'm sorry if my cat's ears are bugging you. But the chart, it's all in one page. It's a colored chart. And the back stitching is all there. And I highlight as I stitch. So then I highlight over the back stitching and it's just hard to see. So I was doing the top as I go. But there's a lot of back stitching right here. So I might just, or I'm probably just gonna save the rest of the back stitching for the end, and I'll reprint the chart so I don't have all the highlighting on it to do the back stitching afterwards. But there's still a good amount, and I'm gonna be glad when this is done. My goal is to finish it before my son turns 1 because it's his birth sampler. I will just be inserting his name and his birth details at the bottom. But I can't wait till it's done. And that'll be in April when he turns a year old. Next one is called Temperature Typography by Stitchin' Mommy on Etsy. This is on 28 count and I'm doing 3/2 full cross. Currently, I just started working on August because I like to wait till the month's over. I mean, it was mainly for these short months. So obviously the rest of the year is longer, like this long basically. So I might work on those as like throughout the actual month. But yeah, hopefully August is the last month that doesn't have any greens or blues. This week it's another heat wave of about 115 degrees for like 3 or 4 days straight. I'm hoping after that it'll just be downhill from there until next summer. Oh wait, I want to show you, I kept forgetting to show you one more thing. Was, if you can tell, in April on this L, there's a shiny gold color right there. It should have been a much brighter yellow, but I was just getting whatever Michael's had, and that's all they had for a yellow shiny one. But that's the day my son was born. I was thinking maybe I could do either this exact chart or something different whenever my future kids are born. I'll do a temperature chart in the years that they're born. And Picture, get off my projects. Go sit on my lap. So this is the full coverage I chose to focus on until it's finished. If I can last that long. If I get bored of it, I'll put it away and take a different one out. But it's pretty small compared to all the other ones. And it's, I really like the image, so yeah. It's called San Francisco Golden Gate from artisty.com. I have one page finished. And I try to stagger the stitches at the bottom to avoid the page lines. But I also try to go page by page just to help me get some progress being shown and stuff. But San Francisco is one of my favorite cities in California. I used to live in San Jose, so that's only like an hour away from San Francisco, so I was able to go a few times a year. And then the last one is a new start. It was not planned. I mean, none of my starts are usually planned, but this was a new release on Heaven and Earth Designs, and when I saw it, I knew that I wanted to start it. And it is called 12 Days of Christmas by Hannah Lynn. I've always kind of wanted to stitch one of her patterns, but like it's not really my style to have on the wall, but it's gonna be on my cross stitch wall, so it's okay. But I just wasn't sure which one of hers I wanted to do, so I never started one. But this one, I really like how you can see all of the things that are in the song 12 Days of Christmas, and I just like them because they're like a coloring book. And I started on the bottom, the bottom left, and this is what I have. I considered for like 1 hour to do cross country extreme cross country and do all the black first, because you can see the clear image of what it will be if you stitch all the black first. But it's over 100,000 stitches of black, and pretty sure I wouldn't have lasted, so I decided against it, even though it would have been satisfying to fill in the colors afterwards. But it would have taken like 2 years maybe, so just to finish the black. Hey everybody, I just remembered on my new start I wanted to tell you guys that it's on 25 count. It's my first time stitching on 25 count. I'm doing it 1/1, and I've just been having a urge to try a full coverage on 25 count because 28 count is really small. I can see it just fine, but I don't look forward to stitching on it, even though the coverage is nice. So when I started this one, I was patient and I waited for the 25 count to come in the mail versus just running to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And obviously you can see some fabric through, but I think it'll be fine if what's her name? If Jemima, the rocking stitcher, can stitch full coverage on 25 count, so can I. That's it. But this is my cross stitch wall actually. That's the Joshua Tree one I just finished. That's another Stitching Jewels pattern. And this is it. Whoa, it's really blurry. A Galaxy one. That's my first full coverage I finished. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And that's everything I have for this video. I'd like to try to film every month, but it just depends how much stitching I can get done with the house soon I'll be back. At least no more than 2 months apart is the goal. Thanks for joining us. We had a special surprise guest today, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye. Say bye. Say thanks for joining us, everybody. My name is Peachy, and I don't cross stitch, but I wanted to be in the videos too. Say bye.